State Building.
New York.
What's up?
Oh,
I'm
she's
Crystal
falling.
Rosas. That's Maxwell. We're inside of our artist interview lounge at Z100, presented by Grubhub. In the building, Miss She Them, Dylan Mulvaney, a most attractive, hottest, sexy trans comic, actress, content creator, viral videos with over a billion views.
I can't with you.
The recipient of the TikTok Trailblazer Award, and just all around star, Broadway star, all of it star.
Stop it. It feels like my birthday.
Thank you for being here, Dylan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All
As you
suited up
should.
on
Take all that.
International Women's Day.
Yes, we've got the little powers. It's actually, I think, the first time I've worn a suit as a woman. So I wore it for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how does that feel to step into the power suit that it is, owning it and knowing that this is where your heart is?
Well, it's just funny because I think clothing and, all of these things can kind of help me in my journey, but it doesn't make me a woman at all.
Yes.
And I do love, expressing myself through clothes, and this makes me feel very strong.
Go ahead.
Dylan, I do think that me wearing my claws makes me feel like a woman. So if you do a little claw cam, please.
I've got I've got the little glazed nail going on.
Please let everyone know the struggle of acrylic nails.
Hellish. And well, even just finding the amount of time to get them done, because it's a process. But you got a good person here, because I might need someone.
Honey, these are press-ons. I ain't got time for that. I keep the glue in my bag,
those
and
look
Max
good.
finds them all over the
Okay.
studio.
They fall. There's a trail at times.
Maybe my next contract, I'll get
That's how I
budget.
am with fake eyelashes. There's a graveyard in my hotel room right now.
But other than nails and pantsuits and
Yes.
your iconic makeup,
Thank you.
you're just yourself. And you've gone through a pretty hellish journey to be who you are. There are people that have said probably the worst things ever, but you stand strong every day in who you are.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you.
No, it's my pleasure. I think that, honestly, all of that, the negativity has ultimately been worth it, because I've now gotten to connect with millions of people who are finding themselves. And whether it's they're trans or they're not, or they're queer or they're not, or they're old or they're young, it's this common sort of experience with each other to be like, oh, whatever it is that I am, we're going to celebrate this and not hide. And I think when I first came out, it was a decision of am I going to go and do all of these things very privately and get surgery and then come out and sort of be like, okay, here I am now as this new person, or am I going to take people along on this journey? And that's what I chose to do. And at some points I am like, oh gosh, maybe I did overshare. But I think there is so much power in the vulnerability. And I think there's been specific, I remember early on I shared what it was like having facial hair still as a woman, and I was trying to get rid of it, but I went on camera with my full beard, and that actually it made me feel so powerful, because I was basically reclaiming the thing that made me feel embarrassed. Yeah. And so I've had a few of those moments looking back where I was like, oh my gosh, I can do this, and you can do this too.
And as you have documented, we're 365, you know what I mean? It might have been day 184 or day 62, but as you think back to those moments and have a physical proof of, the videos are out there, and you can say how proud you are at this point, what does that feel like to know that you were able to overcome those obstacles and, and grow from those?
You're making me emotional.
No, really.
I think I feel like I'm doing this for my younger self, my child self that didn't get to do any of these things growing up. And I so wish, I was actually just talking to my friend about if I had just got to sit with young Dylan for a second and be like, this is where you are now. This is who you're spending your time with. This is how you look. This is what people are calling you she now. And I can only imagine what that child would feel like. And in a weird way, I think about, oh my gosh, would my younger self be following me on TikTok right now? And I kind of think
so. Yeah,
she would be. So yeah,
Oh my
gosh, that is so great to hear. And we're so thankful that you're so open about your journey and being an advocate, and especially in topics like these that are hard for some people to grasp.
Right.
There's even people within their own communities that sometimes aren't spreading the message that people have fought so hard. I'm bringing up Jeffree Star that recently said that they don't really like the different pronouns. What is your take on that?
I think the complicated part is that there is, even within the queer community, you know, whether you're an L, a G, a B, a T, you know, all of the different sections, there sometimes isn't a union of all of those things. We're not always on the same page, and we have to be, because if we're going to be going up against, you know, these lawmakers and these people that want to take our rights away, we have to stand united. We can't be, you know, fighting against each other when there's a bigger picture here. But my way in, because I think activism in general is so intimidating. I went to school for musical theater.
There you go.
Am not
you found your path.
a political activist. But I think, you know, showing up and showing trans joy in comedy, you know, talking about improv. And I've got this big Day 365 show coming up. Just a few days. And so that's the way that I want to sort of put my spin on this transness and in how it's just going to be a part of life.
Before we cracked the mic, we were asking about the butterflies, and as we look at the Rainbow Room, you're talking iconic New York buildings.
Hollywood, baby.
Come on with it. To know that you have created this this show that really it shows your life and you're being you, and you get to share it, and it is an opportunity for people to laugh, smile, cry, do all of those things. How big are the butterflies in the stomach right now?
I am just so excited. A lot of people don't know this, but I was a Broadway performer before transitioning. This will be my first time back on stage as a woman.
Go ahead,
and I really am just so grateful that I kind of fell in the influencer thing on accident, and now I get to go back to my roots, and I get to show people, you know, what I really want to do and share my story and share transness. We've got amazing special guests, many of which are trans and non-binary. And it's all for the Trevor Project. So it's in support of queer youth, and we're hoping to donate a lot of money so the tickets go to a great cause.
So proud of you for putting this show together. I don't want to just glaze over the fact that you were a Broadway star.
Oh my gosh.
You played Elder White in The Book of Mormon, which is oddly my mom's like favorite Broadway musical.
Oh my, well, it's so funny, but it is crazy because like, you know, I looked like a little Mormon boy, and now here I am like in my full glamour. But I actually don't look back on that part of my life and resent it. I think that I was just doing my best, and I was so happy to be performing. But now I get to really play those roles that I'm supposed to be playing.
Yes.
And, you know, I want to kind of like, I think I'll enjoy it a lot more.
Well, hitting on that a little bit, because you come from a professional Broadway, like studying and singing and all of that. And now you've transitioned a little more into like the influencer world.
Yes.
And sometimes it doesn't get taken as seriously, but then you have to let it click like, y'all, I've been doing
well,
this. What do you
I
think
gotta
about all
tell
that?
you, I think a musical theater degree is the best degree to get to become a TikToker, because
Word.
I mean, you're performing, you're writing scripts, you know, like, and really TikTok, like there are so many talented people on there that will, you know, sort of branch into the mainstream. And I think as time goes on, we are letting go of this, like, oh, what is an influencer? And, you know, that kind of that stigma. And so I really can't wait to see some of these other TikTok stars like do the damn thing. And like it's happening in music right now. You've seen these like huge artists go viral with just like a 15-second clip.
100%.
And so I think that has been a really fun way to look at my TikTok videos and be like, oh, it's almost like a movie of my life. And then I can take that and do the scripted version.
And speaking of the scripted version, yeah, your memory, is it on point? You know what I mean?
Oh,
You singing the new songs? Are you set? Are you ready?
Yeah,
like, come on.
I've got it written down.
Let us know, Dylan.
Babe, we're gonna right after this. I'm going to rehearsal.
I know. Thank you for taking time out of your packed
Wait, but
rehearsal schedule.
it's after the bath bombs that you randomly got, right?
Oh my gosh, you saw that today. We got a package of just bath bombs, and it didn't have a name on it. So
It was
whoever
us.
sent them,
It was
I'm
we're
very
gonna take
grateful.
ownership of sending you that.
Really?
No.
Oh,
I would.
I'm the most gullible person ever. Hey, you gave me the bath
You're
bombs.
welcome.
Thank
You're welcome.
you.
Well, it was no joke when you were honored to win the Queer TV Groundbreaker Award.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. We're here today, International Women's Day. Tell us.
I I first just want to thank every trans woman and trans femme person that came before me, because truly, I've not hit 1 year yet. And to get an award like that really scared me, because I don't always feel completely ready to take on a title like that.
Understandably.
But I do think that there's something about, honoring this older generation that has like really paved the way, and then seeing what we can infuse as young people. Because I now look at, even Gen Z, because I'm on that cusp, and I'm like, oh, these kids are changing the world.
Same, yeah.
And I really think that there just has to be a mutual respect between generations that is like, it's passing of the torch, and I can't wait to now do that, because I've done a lot of vulnerability this year, so I can't wait for somebody else's days of girlhood.
Yeah, I did that, so here we go. Who's next?
What's it going to mean to you when you do realize, when we look back 5 years from now, or even a year from now, or even next week when the reviews come in, and you realize that you have helped so many people by being just you and putting on this show?
I don't know if it'll ever actually sink in. I will say a lot of the times you see these like numbers of millions of people on a video, but it's really when I'm walking down the street and I actually get to hug someone. Or I was at a Broadway musical the other night, and there was a girl behind me.
Which one?
I saw Sweeney Todd. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh my God, Jordan Fisher, he's killing it. I'm hearing.
Oh, he's so good. That voice,
man.
butter. But behind me in the bathroom line was a young girl, and she was trans, and she said, "Me and my mom watch your videos every day together, and we already bought tickets to your show." And I said, "Is your mom here?" And so we walked upstairs. The mom stood up, saw me, and started sobbing. And so I got to have a moment. And actually, as like I truly believe trans youth are like the bravest humans ever. But I got a chance to thank that mother and say thank you for being willing to go on this journey with her.
Yeah.
Because that's what it takes. It takes parents willing to foster a children's happiness and just overall well-being. And isn't that what the goal of a parent should be?
100%. No, I think you nail it with that. To have that support there is, it's instrumental. It's mandatory at this point. I mean, it's not something that should be a wavering thought, and to know that, gosh, you are going to be that supporter. You are that support for someone inadvertently, maybe just because of you're just sharing your story through TikTok, just like you bumped into this young woman in line. And that's super
Those are my
important.
favorite moments.
That's why you're doing this. You found your why. And the fact that you get to take us along on this journey with you, and you're brave enough and willing to do it, because there are a lot of people that are willing to do that. It's what makes our job special when we get to speak with women like you, or artists, or other movie stars. It's you found your why, and this is so.
We all need a why.
Right? We all need it, and you found yours.
I want to ask about your really incredible run-in with Paris Hilton. You guys had a whole photo op moment. Can you please tell me what it was like to breathe Paris Hilton's air?
Okay, this is a good story. I recently got close with Kathy, her mother, and
we name drop.
I'm sorry.
As you should.
It's for the story. And I met her after an award show, and I walked up to her. I was like, "Kathy, big fan here," and she's like, "Oh, I know you." And I was like, "No, I don't think you do." She was like, "I've seen you walk the runways in New York." I'm like, "No, you haven't. I'm just a trans girl." And she goes, "You're trans?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "God, I would have had no idea." I did look really good that day.
Every day,
Thank you, babe. And funny enough, so we this friendship evolved, and then I get this FaceTime from a random number. I usually never take those, but I open it up, and I was like eating Mexican food. I never looked worse, and it was Paris Hilton, and she was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hi," and she was like, "I just can you come over? Like, me and my mom are hanging out," and I was like, "No, I wasn't even in town." But she then started coaching me through some of the hate that I was getting, and she's like the original influencer, and so time had gone by,
What was she saying?
She was just saying essentially like, you just have to feel for the people that don't like you, because there's something going on with them where they aren't allowing themselves to experience like the joy that you have to offer. And so essentially she then sent me an invite to this party, and it was almost like a museum of all her things. Like, it was so crazy. Pop up, and I walk in, and she's doing these pictures with all the paparazzi, and I hear Dylan, and her team like grabs me and throws me up there with her. And we got to spend like 2 hours together, met her amazing husband, and I was there with her and Kathy and Christian. I saw the ring. It's really good. And, you know, I really just admire, I think even just this year has really been fatiguing in the way that you give so much of yourself, or there's such a distinct difference between playing a character versus being yourself. And
yes.
she's you know, just being herself for the past like 20 plus years now. So I think there's so much to learn from her. I really want to keep that connection alive. And now we've been messaging. So I'm really grateful to have her.
Now you're being besties with Paris Hilton. I'm out. Oh
But just
my
to-
God.
to
I just want to
know-
raid her closet.
I
That
know.
part, yeah, that part.
Give us insight on meeting Laverne Cox.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what's so funny is like I made this video on TikTok of the two of us, but we actually had a really lovely private moment before meeting. And it's just so special to have other trans humans in your life in general. I think it's so important for a transition, but also to then meet someone who's also in the spotlight.
Yes.
That then we can connect. And her advice to me was to keep some things private. And I actually have caught myself now. A few times I've gone to make a video, I've gone, am I actually ready to do this? And I go, okay, what would Laverne do? And I've actually stopped myself from.
What were some of those things?
Oh gosh, one.
No,
of
no, no, no. I'm totally
Yeah,
kidding. I'm totally kidding.
No, but I will say, like, even just one of them was like, I had facial feminization surgery recently, and I had
Wow.
talked a little bit about the physical.
Wait, what is that about?
So it's essentially to feminize your face, and I went to an amazing doctor, Dr. Lee, and they basically just kind of soften everything. And so when there was dysphoria when you look in the mirror and you see kind of not what you see in your head, if that makes sense. And now I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my gosh, there I am. It's a really special thing, and I hope that people can see it as a necessity. But one of the videos that after I had met Laverne was that I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about like the emotional parts of that journey, and really talk about, you know, the healing process. And I was like, you know what, let's hold off on that for a second.
Yeah.
So I actually haven't made that video, and I'm really proud of myself.
Well, I mean, round of applause. But the thing that's really special that you hit on is having that support. And again, going back to the mother who was in line that you had, to know that you have people that you can lean on. You know, when you're
and if you don't have them in your immediate family, you can also, you know, you have chosen family.
Yeah.
And I even think of some of my friends' parents growing up that I would hang out at their houses, and I always felt so supported. And I think that's truly what we need.
Yes, you're doing that, and you are, again, to reiterate it, you are the support that so many people might not know that they had. And again, you're sharing your journey on the effing stage at the Rainbow Room. Like, I just get, like, you know what I mean? It's all these things
so
happen.
I'm essentially setting these past 365 days to music, like doing iconic songs, Natural Woman, a little Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
Like, we're going in, baby. And it is really fun, though, because I think as vulnerable as some of those videos have been, there's also sometimes, like, in theater, there's a camp element. So I've gotten to, like, really like
zhuzh it up, take
zhuzh
that
it
next
up.
level.
We got costume changes. Like I just had a fitting with Christian Siriano yesterday. Like it's happening, and it's good. We're gonna have a very small audience that is in the room of trans people, some of my loved ones. The Trevor Project is bringing in some youth. And
can you explain real quick the Trevor Project again?
Absolutely. So the Trevor Project is an organization that provides crisis services for queer youth. So say, you know, a young queer or trans kid is going through something, doesn't have anybody to turn to. They have a hotline that that child can call, and they've got an experienced professional that is ready to talk them through anything so that they don't feel alone.
Gosh.
And parts of the profits are going to the Trevor Project.
Oh, yes. The proceeds are going to Trevor, and we're hoping to really you know, just be able to help them in any way that we can. I just released my merch line. And a portion of the profits are going to
Days of Girlhood.
Yes,
Heck
we're
yeah.
doing that. And you know what? I think Days of Womanhood is right around the corner. How do you
Look at
feel?
the
Do you ever
glow
call
up, the
yourself
glow
a
up.
girl, or do you call yourself always a woman?
Both.
Yeah.
Just depending on the con. I don't.
Well, because think
I
about
don't
like
even think
girls
about that,
trip,
yeah.
or you know, you think like a girlfriend. Like it's so funny that some people get so up in arms about like me calling myself a girl versus a woman, and I think it's interchangeable. I think like it's like day to day. But the most important thing is that like they can't take away from how I see and feel about myself.
Yeah.
Well, then where can everyone watch
Oh my
You got
gosh.
the live stream. Come
Okay.
on, yeah.
So
we got to tap in.
on all my social media, there is a link in bio to $5 tickets in support of the Trevor Project. It's going to be a live stream event. You can download the app on your TV if you want to get really fancy,
Yes.
stellar tickets. And it's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday the 13th.
And your socials?
At Dylan Mulvaney, and
is
that's
so
D-Y with not D-I.
This is so. This
Thank
is
you
such
so
an
much.
amazing conversation because just knowing and feeling the pure joy in person
Mm-hmm.
is. I mean,
I feel like I could sit with you all day long. Like, you're my friend.
I mean, if you didn't have
now.
rehearsal for this big ass show that you're
well,
doing, you
maybe
know
I'll
what
have
I'm
to be-
saying?
And you're gonna have to come join.
Let's
I
go.
love it.
Open door policy, like no joke. I mean, we're here for you. You're
Thank
a part of
you.
the family now, and
I love y'all.
to
You give yourself to so many different people and things, and you're responding to people in the comments, and you're always there for everyone else. So thank you for making the time for us.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. No, I'm honored,
Real
truly.
talk.
So yay!
Yes,
Love
inside of our
ya.
Z100 Artist
Yes.
Interview Lounge presented by Grubhub. Miss Dylan
Mulvaney in the building, baby. Let's get it.
From the top of the Empire State Building.
Z100.